Hi everyone, this is a quick video for those who are interested in making money from sports betting but are living in the US or Canada. Most of the other videos on my channel are about arbitrage and value betting software for those who are living in Europe, as there really hasn't been much arbitrage and value betting out there for US and Canadian sports bettors to date. But with the legalization of sports betting in the US and with a number of states coming on board with that, there's been an explosion in the arbitrage betting and value betting scene over there. And in this video, I'm really excited to talk to you about one of my favorite arbitrage betting software for the US, and that is OddsJam. OddsJam is relatively new to the arbitrage betting software scene, but they've quickly become very popular thanks to their wide variety of features and their excellent user interface. So let's take a look at how the software exactly works, and I'll run you through the pros and cons and how you can use it to make money from sports betting. Let's get started. So this here is the OddsJam software. It runs entirely in your browser and there's nothing that you need to download at all. Let's take a look at a couple of the different features that they offer as part of their software. The first one, which we can see up here, is this odds section here. And this is basically a free feature offered by OddsJam. You don't need to pay anything for this. And that basically allows you to do line shopping, which is looking around through all the bookmakers and seeing which ones offer the best odds for a particular match and particular betting market as well. Whether you're placing arbitrage bets, value bets, or you're just placing a regular sports bet, this odds section is really useful for making sure that you're getting the absolute best odds out there. So what you would do is you would click on the odds here, and then you can see what the different sports are that OddsJam offers. If we click on baseball, for example, then it will show us a list of the matches that are on today. And then we can go through these and find the best possible odds for particular markets and bookmakers. So if we click on this particular game here and we wait for that to load, you can see that it brings up all of the different markets, and there's a ton of them that are on offer for this particular match. And then if we scroll down here, we actually can see that for this particular market, which is the money line market, we can see the odds that are offered by all of the different bookmakers. And OddsJam covers a huge variety of bookmakers here, all the major ones that are operating in the US, Canada, and overseas as well. But they predominantly focus on the US and Canada. So as you can see here, if, for example, you wanted to bet on the Dodgers on a money line betting market here, the OddsJam software has nicely highlighted in yellow down here the best possible odds, which would come from betting here with BetMGM. And that likewise, if you wanted to bet on the other side, over here, the best bet would come from betting with FoxBet here. And I really like the way that they set this up. They make it really easy and foolproof to see which bookies are offering the best possible odds for each match. So that's a really useful feature. And that's something that OddsJam offers entirely for free, which is very nice. And you can access that for all of the different sports that they cover here. Next up is the section that you're probably more interested in, which is the section, the betting tools section here, which is all about profitable sports betting. And they offer arbitrage bets, low hold bets, middles, and positive EV. And positive EV is what I commonly refer to as value betting on this channel. So let's take a look at each of them. If we go to the arbitrage betting section first, you'll be able to see a interface that looks pretty familiar to you if you've been using other arbitrage betting software before. And that basically each of these different rows represents a different match and a different arbitrage bet, essentially. So you can see here that they are telling you the profit margin for this particular arbitrage bet, the start time of the match, the sport and the teams that are competing, and then the bookmakers that are offering odds, which, if you bet on both sides, could constitute an arbitrage bet, which is quite useful. And you can see that here, 5Dimes are offering these odds, and that if you combine them with these other odds here, offered by a couple of different books, that you could actually get an arbitrage bet with a profit margin of 1.32%, which is quite nice. They also have the ability here to open a arbitrage betting calculator, and it pre-fills the odds for you automatically. So for example, if you wanted to bet $100 on this side, the software would automatically calculate the stake you would need to place with the other side to ensure that no matter which side wins, you get a payout of $345 and therefore a profit of $4.55, that being 1.32% of the total amount that you staked. And that these arbitrage bets are automatically sorted by profit margin, which is useful, but you can also sort them by start time of the match if you prefer that as well. This is pretty self-explanatory. You can the odds are updating regularly, but you can refresh them manually over here. And yeah, you can just scroll through and you can already see there's quite a few arbitrage bets on offer here, and that, yeah, at quite a varying level of profit. So that's great to see. And you can click on this little cog icon over here to adjust a couple of different settings for this particular arbitrage net betting software here. You can tweak a few things. OddsGem probably doesn't have quite as many filters and options as the European arbitrage betting software have that I've looked at on this channel, but they still have a pretty decent number. And overall, I quite like this interface, the ability to click on these individual bets and then get an arbitrage betting calculator straight away with the odds preloaded in there, which is very nice. Moving along is the low hold section, and this is basically a useful section for if you have for example, a first time sign up bonus or a deposit bonus or reload bonus or some kind of bonus with any of the books, and you're looking to extract as much value from that bonus, as much value as possible from that bonus, then this is a useful section, as you can see which bets are available at the moment, which has the lowest hold. And what they mean by hold is the house profit, or the vigorish, as I sometimes call it on this channel. So this is quite a useful way of understanding. For example, this first bet here only has 0.25% profit margin. As you can see, the line is very tight for this particular match, and that you can see how much of the bonus you could expect to convert into cash that you could ultimately withdraw as profit. So you can sort it by hold here, or you can sort it by conversion rate as well if you want to see which bet would give you the most conversion, which would give you the most value for that particular bonus. So for example, this one here would give you back 93.1%. So if you had a $1,000 bonus, for example, you could conceivably turn that into $931 of actual profit, which is very, very useful. And this is a great way that those sign-up bonuses and ongoing bonuses actually represent a lot of value. So you want to make sure you're really maximizing how much you're getting out of them, as they can be huge in terms of how much profit you're getting. A single one of those bonuses can be equivalent to many, many arbitrage bets. So yeah, it's worth using this section here. You can actually make a lot of money using this low hold bet section. Very useful. Next up is the middle section, and this refers to arbitrage middles. And this is basically, if you're not familiar with middles, a middle is basically a arbitrage bet where it's possible to bet on both sides, and of course win regardless of the outcome. But it is possible that if a particular outcome occurs, both of your bets could actually both pay off, resulting in a huge payout. So that if you've got a positive middle, like this first one here with a 0.71% profit margin, it's a regular arbitrage bet, but you could also make money if, for example, a particular outcome occurred. As you can see here, that the spread between these two different teams is not identical. So there is a situation where both bets could win. So that's quite useful as well. And a lot of arbitrage betting software don't offer this, but OddsGem do, and I quite like that. Lastly, in the betting tools section is the positive EV section. And this, as I said before, is basically the same as value betting. You take the arbitrage bets that we looked at before, and rather than betting on both sides, that is betting with a sharp bookmaker and with a soft bookmaker, you just bet on the soft bookmaker side. And that is betting on the bookmaker that has made a mistake on their odds, so to speak. So that's basically what this is. And you can see here that they've ranked a bunch of different bets here by that profit margin. You can see there's some huge expected value numbers here. Some of these are quite interesting. It's important to remember with this kind of betting, though, that you don't win every single time. You're expected to win in the long run as long as you place many, many bets. And ultimately, you should make more money than arbitrage betting, but your profit will be quite variable. It'll be up and down. You'll have good runs and bad runs. And one of the useful things about OddsGem is that they do track your bets and how they're performing. And we'll get to that in a minute, but that's quite useful, very important if you're doing positive EV betting. So here you can see that they are comparing the soft bookmaker odds to the Pinnacle odds here. Pinnacle being one of the sharpest sports books in the world, along with Bookmaker. And OddsGem uses these Pinnacle odds as a kind of a feel for what the true odds should be, what the true line should be for a particular bet. And then if the soft sportsbook are quite far off, if they're offering odds that are too generous, then that can indicate that there is a value bet there, that particular bet with that soft bookmaker has value. And if you were to bet on that consistently in the long run, those kinds of bets, you would expect a profit. So in addition to the Pinnacle numbers here, they also have an OddsJam column here. And this OddsJam column is basically a weighted average between Pinnacle and Bookmaker, which are the two sharp bookmakers, as I said before. And OddsJam kind of use this, they take a weighted average based on which of these they consider to be more trustworthy. And then based on that, they use this to generate what they consider to be these kind of fair value odds, no profit odds in a way. And you can see that for this particular value bet here, the OddsJam have got here as positive 1933, whereas here the soft bookmaker 5 Dimes is offering plus 3,500. So that there's substantial value in that particular bet. In this case, 61.17%, which is really huge for a value bet. So yeah, that's very useful. They offer these value bets as part of their industry plan. So yeah, if you are interested in doing these value bets, positive EV bets, you'll need to get access to that industry plan. But it is worth it if that is what you are interested in doing, not just for arbitrage betting, but value betting as well. Next up is there's quite a few different calculators here that OddsJam offer: an arbitrage calculator, a free play calculator, and a Novig fair odds calculator. And those are pretty self-explanatory. These calculators are decent. They're not fantastic. There's definitely other better arbitrage betting calculators out there than these, but they get the job done. They're perfectly satisfactory. Ultimately, I would like to see OddsJam add a few extra features to these arbitrage betting calculators, perhaps the ability to look at implementing different currencies in there, or skewing you or biasing your bets to a particular outcome, or things like that. That would be quite nice. Or rounding of the odds would actually be quite another nice feature that they don't have in there at the moment. They just have a fairly simple one, as you can see here, where you just enter the odds and the stakes and it'll calculate it down to the nearest cent. But if you are doing arbitrage betting and you're looking to stay under the radar, doing what I call defensive arbing, you want to look at rounding your stakes as a really basic way of protecting yourself from getting banned by the bookmakers. Anyway, moving along, the next thing is the Bet Tracker, and this is another free feature offered by OddsJam, and a very useful one at that, especially if you are doing value betting, as I mentioned before. So if we click here on the Bets tab of this here, and in this account, it's fairly fresh. I haven't made that many bets in this account yet, so there's not a whole lot here to look at. But if you just have a bit of a look, you can see that for every single bet that you place and record in the software, and it's very easy to record it, next to each bet, you can just hit a plus icon and enter your stakes, and then it'll record it in the software. It will show information about every single bet that I've placed and recorded with the software. So for example, the sportsbook, the event, the time, the particular betting market, the odds, the closing line value with Pinnacle, which is quite useful, especially for value betting, as this gives you a feel for whether your value bets are actually representing value at the closing line, not just at the time that you place the bet. And you can see more on my website about I talk about closing line value and the importance of making sure that your value bets are actually representing value at the time of the closing line. But I won't discuss that here, as the video will get quite long. Anyway, you can see your stake as well and your potential payout, and then the status of the bet and whether it was an arbitrage bet or a regular bet. And this is quite useful. On its own, this table, there's not a lot to gain necessarily from looking at this table, but the way that OddsJam packaged it all up, if we go back here to our main dashboard, is that here they use all of this to generate these graphs and these stats, such as your total profit. And I've only placed a couple of bets in this account, so you can see that there's not a great deal of profit there. Your return on investment, pending bets, how often you beat the closing line value, your profit over time, week to week, your profit by the different sports books, your profit by sport, and then your profit by bet type as well. So yeah, that's quite useful. It's very interesting. And you can, especially if you filter it just by your value bets, you can get a really good feel for how well you're doing and whether your value betting strategy is working or whether you need to refine your filters and adjust things on that end. Another useful aspect of the Bet Tracker is that it doesn't just track your betting performance, like most bet trackers do, it actually also tracks your your balance at each of the bookmakers. So if you enter whenever you make a deposit or withdrawal into a bookmaker account, it will automatically and then log it within the software. It will keep track of that, and it'll keep your balance. It'll keep track of it as it slides up and down with each of the bets that you place. And this is really useful as one of the difficult aspects of arbitrage betting or value betting is managing your balances with across all of your different sportsbook accounts. As some sportsbooks will have more wins than others, your balances will start to fluctuate, and you'll need to move your funds around carefully to make sure that you've always got funds available in the accounts where you need them, and that the deposit and withdrawal tracker here as part of the free bet tracker is a really useful feature that OddsJam have integrated, and I haven't seen that done in too many other places. I think it's really useful and something I'm very impressed with, actually, something they've done really well, I think. Another useful feature of the OddsJam software is the ability to select the state that you're in. And as you can see here, you can select from the various states where sports betting is currently legal in the US. And that's very useful as they can tailor the bookmakers and the odds to your particular state if necessary. So that's quite useful as well. That pretty much sums up the main offerings of the OddsJam software there. So you're probably wondering how much it costs. And over here you can see that they offer a few different packages. There is the offshore and Canada plan being the cheapest, the United States plan, and the industry plan. And basically the difference between these first two plans is which bookmakers are available. So the offshore and Canada plan covers, as you would expect, the non-US bookmakers and the ones that you can access in Canada and overseas. And then the United States plan is covering the US bookmakers. The industry plan actually covers both of these and also covers value bets as well, which is very useful. If you are interested in doing positive EV or value betting, you will need to get the industry plan, which currently is costing $199 per month, which is a fair bit more than the United States plan at just $79. However, for readers of the Arb Academy or viewers of the Arb Academy, I have managed to secure a discount, a 35% off discount using the code TAA and using my link in the video description below. So if you check the video description, that coupon code will be down there, as well as the link you need to use to access that particular discount, which is 35% off, which is quite a decent discount. The other thing as well is that OddsJam offer a free 7-day trial. So once you've clicked on my link in the video description below, be sure to click on one of these buttons here, which is a free 7-day trial, and you can cancel that at any time with a single click of a button. So there's nothing to lose from giving them a go for 7 days and seeing what you think of them, trying them out, see whether you can make some money with them, whether they're worth it or not, whether you like the software, whether it works for you or not. I highly recommend that you at least give them a go for 7 days. You can cancel any time and there's not a problem. If you're not ready to give them a go yet and you don't want to use your 7-day trial just yet, you can also sign up for their free their free profitable bet. They offer one free profitable bet every single day as an email, and you can get that delivered to your inbox every day for free if you're interested, and that might help convince you of their value if you can see that you're getting these free bets delivered to your inbox every day. So I recommend that you sign up to that as well if you are interested. So that pretty much covers the OddsJam software. I quite like it. I think at the moment it's the best arbitrage betting software and value betting software available in the US. I like their interface. I like that they cover a lot of bookmakers. I like that they include middles and also value bets as well. There's a lot to like with this software, and I'm quite excited to watch them grow and as they add some new features as well. I'd like to see them improve their arbitrage betting calculators a little bit, as I mentioned earlier, and perhaps tidy up one or two things. But other than that, the software is really, really quite good. And I think it's definitely worth your attention and worth giving it a go if you are in the US or Canada and are looking at doing some profitable sports betting. If you have any questions about OddsJam or how it works, how to access that 35% discount, then please leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All the best. Cheers.